When it becomes clear that the only reason your trusted friend begged for a zombie apocalypse game is because he has a necrophilia fetish. As good a reason as any, I suppose. Hey, what's up everybody, I'm SkyDieRay and welcome to another DnDGreentext video. Without any further ado, enjoy! A white peacock enters the king's throne room. What happens? The king notices the fine white bird and calls over the head guard, Philip. Yes, my king? Philip, I fear my old eyes deceive me. Tell me, is that a peacock? Why, yes, my king. Ah, and of what color are its feathers? They are whiter than the purest snow, my king. Ah, yes. Do you believe a bird of that pigment to be rare? Why, yes, quite rare indeed, my king. Ah, very good, very good. Kill it. Sir? Kill it. I want to wear it as a hat. Philip looks at the king, then at the bird. He then takes a deep breath and pulls out his sword. As you command, my king. Very valid reason for killing the bird. I mean, he wants a hat, so... Cast silence on enemy wizard. Enemy casts a spell. Go for the counter spell, but mention to DM that if enemy's spell has a verbal component, it can't be cast. DM tells me to stop being rules lawyer. It's about having fun, not stopping and debating rules. Back off due to rule 0. Counter spell, but fail the ability check. Enemy wizard casts Conjure Elemental in 1 round. I can live with that, but it still feels a bit whack. Later in the session. Before entering a room, ask to check for traps. Want to use Mage Hand and the length of bright red thread. Have the Mage Hand try and lower extended thread to rest on any tripwires. Also use Mage Hand to try and find pressure plates. DM makes me roll perception. I pass the roll. You detect more than one trap. Ask where they are, and if I can, what traps they are. Stop being so pedantic. It's about fun, not playing the rules. You can only detect this room is trapped. Step into the room. Instantly trip a wire and get hit with 6 darts, each doing 5 damage. Hang on, weren't you a wizard? Doesn't more than 10 damage instantly kill you? Kinda salty about that one. Perception roll to find traps. You see there are traps. Where? You can't see. What the fuck, dude? How does that make... I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. How do you deal with phones at your table? Had a DM who had a clever way of dealing with this. Anyone who touches their phone without permission, or did anything that required discipline, must roll the dice of punishment. The dice of punishment was a big ass set of custom-made percentage dice that were made out of solid iron. Each one weighed around 2.5 pounds. When I asked him why they were that heavy, he responded with, one represents the weight of your actions, the other represents the weight of the punishment you faced. But one thing I will always remember about this was the sound they made. These were no cheap ass plastic Chessex dice. This was 5 pounds of industrial grade iron hitting a cheap wooden table. It felt and sounded like a thunderstorm. Punishments would consist of anything from your character gains disadvantage to you inadvertently pissed off a god, take a ton of damage. Unfortunately, the dice of punishment was causing the table to split due to overuse. The DM retired them shortly after. Be level 10 Bard Charlatan. Expertise in deception and persuasion. Meet with a local thieves guild. Decide to give a false name, just in case. DM has me roll deception. Roll 19, plus the bonus, comes out to 32. Yeah, he easily sees through that lie and calls you by name. Well, don't make me roll if I were going to fail anyway. Maybe you weren't going to fail if it was a natural 20. Not taking the DM's side here, I'm just saying, okay? Natural 20 could have saved you. Brainless moments. What was the biggest dumbest moment you've ever had in your game? Be exploring a dungeon with party. Arrive to a room with 3 chests. We suspect some was about to happen. Paladin decides it and goes for one of them. He breaks the chest with his warhammer. 10k gold coins fall out of the chest. Barbarian then decides to go for one as well. He chops the chest with his sword. Barbarian finds 100 platinum coins in the chest. Decide I'll go for the last one. I attempt to open it with my hands. Hands get stuck to the lid.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Chest turns out to be a mimic. My face when? You forgot rule 1 of dungeon crawling. Never trust the chests. Be me. Robbing a bank in 5th edition. Run away and duck into an alley. Ask to roll a stealth check. Yeah, sure. Natural 20, yeah. DM says I hide in some crate or something. Hear guards approaching. One says, check that alley. Decide to book it. Actually, the crate you're hiding in is too small for you to move. You're stuck. Fail escape artist check. Guards find me stuck in a goddamn crate, unable to move. Has your DM ever punished you for rolling a 20? Why would you ever do that .jpg? Be an adventuring party. Rely on each other to survive every day. One of the is complaining that I'm too effective at keeping us alive and defeating our enemies. So sick of competitive video game tiers Spurg, who don't realize this is a team sport. God damn it, imagine being mad that Michael Jordan is on your team. Seriously. Ranger has to throw darts to determine his role. Bard has to write poems on the spot. Barbarian has to beat me at arm wrestling to pass a strength check. Rogue needs to steal my wallet to pass a stealth check. Paladin must be hit with a sword in order to determine their AC. Sorcerer must be able to conjure up a fireball in order to cast it. Wizard must actually bring the materials needed to the table in order to cast a spell. Player must have a black belt to play a monk. Cleric must be a devout follower of God in order to play as one. Fighter must beat me in a fencing match in order to swing a sword. Druid must have a PhD in botany and environmental studies. Warlock must sell their soul to an actual eldritch god. Gunslinger must beat me in a quick draw duel in order to fire his gun. Alchemist must mix the potions IRL. Artificer must build working artifacts. A strange boy has come up to your party and asks if they are willing to play a game with him. Do they accept? The party looks upon the boy. They are confused where he came from. Little boy, are you lost? The boy stares at them, his eyes void of life. A ominous smile is plastered upon his face. Do you want to play a game? Amy looks at this boy with inquisitive eyes. Amy draws his sword slowly. What kind of game do you want to play, buddy? The boy's eyes shift to Amy. A fun game. How do you play? It's very simple. The first step is for you to die. The boy suddenly shifts into a malformed blob of a creature. The party all begins screaming. What the f? Holy sh**! Kill it! Kill it! The party swiftly swings their swords over and over. Each swing chops pieces off the amorphous horror that was the little boy. Till finally there is nothing but a pile of gooey flesh and blood. The party, exhausted and still shaken, sheath their swords and begin to walk away. Let's all agree never to talk about this again. Agreed. Yeah, never again. What's the worst player you've ever played with? This guy certainly wasn't the worst, but damn was he noteworthy. I once played with a guy in Adventurers League. Guy was stereotypical neckbeard, overweight, fedora, trench coat, smelled of raw sewage, etc. He insisted on playing a female elf ranger. Guy named her Arwen, after the chick from the Lord of the Rings. Every session, he would have her be very flirtuous and would in character flirt with other party members. Anytime his character was hit with an attack, he would describe how her clothes were starting to tear due to the hit. This guy literally told us that he loved his character and that I wish elves were real. Obviously, this was both disturbing and hilarious, all at the same time. But the worst part happened about a few days ago. The owner of the shop found him in the bathroom. He was jacking off to a picture of the elf archer from Goblin Slayer. Dude was immediately banned. The big bad evil guy has a gaggle of tombs and female groupies hanging after his every word. What to do? I would kill them. They're devoted followers of the big bad evil guy. Just because their goal is to impress their big bad evil senpai so he could notice them and probably slip them the D, doesn't mean they aren't a threat. Even if their horniness towards the big bad causes themselves to be misguided, I would still see it as a mercy killing. It'd be crazy. Playing a paladin to the setting's God of Mercy. Clearing out an orc encampment. Someone decides to be a smartass and asks how I'm going to be merciful to things like camps full of gobs and orcs that exist solely to up. Reply back, a sharp page. Play with a group of people. One player constantly on his phone, and when he does interact, all he says are memes. Character spends an hour talking about his backstory to other players. devolves into a rant about how he needs more Cheez-Its because his mom ate them all and that's why he's an adventurer. Cancels sessions last minute to go drinking and tries to get my players to cancel too, so we can do what he wants, even though we planned the sessions a week in advance. Try to talk to him about it and his phone usage, and tell him that while we aren't doing a particular serious campaign, it also isn't a lol so random one. Only reply I get is K. This guy has a history of not treating others with respect, but demanding it when it comes to him, so I just kick him. All other players agree with my decision. A week later, I get a text from one of my players. Hey, Inon, it was kind of up that player got kicked. Can you add him back? He's really bummed out. Tell him that if he really wants to play again, to come message me, and we can talk things out. I have an open door policy. Replies telling me I should just add him back in and talk to him afterwards. Tell him it doesn't work like that, and tell him the reasons that got that player kicked, which he agreed were good reasons for the problem player to get kicked. Guy proceeds to act dumb and ignore me and tells me to add him back. Conversation is basically an endless back and forth of me telling him to have the problem player message me to talk things out and him ignoring the points and stating the same "just add him back bro" messages over again. Finally had enough and told him to stop acting like an idiot and that if the problem player wants to play again, to talk to me because having his lackey do it for him isn't helping his cause. No response for an hour. Finally get a response. I'm not going to play until you add him back. He basically held the group hostage because without him, we are one person short of having a playable size. Just tell him what he's doing is f***ed up, and if that's how he's going to act, then we just won't play. Find out a couple of weeks later that the guy who messaged me supported me at first until the problem player's girlfriend messaged him, telling him to get me to add the problem player back or she would be mad at the guy. Things make sense because he's in love with her, so that's why he did it all. That face when she got all of his friends to hate him a couple months later, and now he doesn't have a lot of friends. That face when she broke up with the problem player and went to a mutual friend of ours, not even a week after the breakup. That face when this woman went out of her way to sabotage a tabletop game she wasn't even a part of, for someone who I found out wasn't even upset he got kicked in the first place. TLDR, kicked the problem player out of the group so that player's girlfriend got another player in the group to hold the game hostage until he was added back, even though he didn't care. And that was my worst experience as a GM. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did and subscribe for more. There's a link below to the Patreon if you want to support the YouTube channel there. A link to my Twitch if you want to check out my live streams. And also a link to the Discord server if you want to get more involved into the community. And with all that said, yeah, thanks again for watching and I'll see you next time. Have a great day, bye.